Hey, anytime will do. Maybe 1:45, maybe 2:30. Hey, anytime will do. Maybe 1:45, maybe 2:30. Take your time before the sun rises. Hi, and welcome to, I suppose, the first episode of me rambling. I don't quite know what this will be about, but here we go. Something interesting might happen. It might not, but yeah. There is a seagull sitting outside my window on top of a lamppost. We're almost eye level. It's quite a big, I think it's a gull. Definitely a gull. Cape gull. It's got a little red dot on the side of its beak. I once saw a video of a gull just like that eat a whole rabbit in one go. A rabbit. That is insane. It does, like, there is a certain shock, right, when you see something. We like to, well, when I say we are, I suppose humans, I think we like a bit of distance, you know? We like our food nicely packaged, so it's food. It's not animals anymore, you know? Yeah. I wonder if there'd be any difference. I think there's a part of us that worries, especially the part of us that loves meat, worries that if we got more acclimatized or reacclimatized to handling our food, as in catching and killing, cooking, kneading, and discarding carcasses, you know, we would probably have, yeah, I think there's a little part of us that's worried that our profits will drop. And sure, at first, profits would definitely drop. There'd probably be a mass adoption to veganism. I was vegan for a couple of years because of my pet rabbit. Yeah, but you don't really see any seagulls that are vegan or have any pet rabbits. That's maybe, I was thinking the other day, what if, this is quite a tangent, but if because everything's very new, right? 5,000 years ago, we were still in the Stone Age. We hadn't really figured out that if we heat up certain rocks, we can get really hard stuff from it and then make tools and yada, yada, yada. And there's still people right now that are living in that Stone Age. And on my run yesterday, I saw a sign, a little bit of information about the area, and there's a cave around the corner called Piers Cave. And they found stone tools dating back 300,000 years. Just around the corner here. And I'm on the base of a mountain, and I'm kind of thinking, every time I look up at this mountain, I see it's a crazy view. Like, there's a bunch of cliffs. It almost looks, I could imagine that ancient people would see and maybe even think that this was a holy mountain and conduct ceremonial sacrifices on certain cliffs and things, you know? It has that vibe about it in my mind. But yeah, 300,000 years There's not a lot of time. If you think of evolution, that's 300,000 years isn't long at all. Sorry, I just got a message. I should put this on silent. Okay, let's see what this message is. Okay. But yeah, so imagine 300,000 years. So for, I would say, 295,000 years, that's kind of what we did, maybe. And then in the last 5,000 years, somebody figured out, oh, okay, we can heat up rocks and, and melt the stuff. And then there's been this big boom. And you and I get born, and we're taught certain rules in school. Like, you do this, and you do this, and you do this. And things are this way, and you take them for granted, and you think it's always been this way. But not long ago, for a very long time, people were making things out of rock. That's pretty cool. So it's a brand new age, and we're trying to figure all this stuff out now. And so I suppose it's very, very recent that we stopped hunting and, killing and eating these animals. Because the world is a closed system. Like, life has to eat what it eats. Life, yeah. So if this is just a snapshot, if we just look at right now, species, our idea of species, of different organisms being different enough in some categories, it only works right now. But if you go back far enough, all life are just children making different choices. And if those choices are different over time enough, different enough, not saying that I necessarily believe in Adam and Eve or anything, but it does make me wonder what stories, what very, very old stories have crept down to us. What are our oldest stories? Whether it's about two dogs fighting inside and you have to feed one, or you have to be good enough to appease the dogs in the afterlife. Those stories only, you could date them back, I suppose, to domestication of dogs, and counting the genetic differences, like the mutations in genetics over time that we know changes at a certain rate. We can kind of see when dogs were domesticated. He said with a nice New Zealand accent. Oh, one of my friends, when he came to visit, he's a New Zealander. And when he left, I kept. It's interesting how we take on these things. Upward lilt. Children choosing different paths, I suppose. One eats more herbs, one eats more meat. Maybe there's a famine, and the one that eats meat lives longest or something, Maybe that's a Cain and Abel story, reenacting. Yeah. It's a weird thing, this life. Suddenly you're in it. You're a leaf in a very bushy tree. And you're struggling for light sometimes. Sometimes there's wind, and sometimes there's predators. Sometimes leaves very close to you die and fall off, land on the ground and slowly decompose. And if you're lucky, you might get some of their nutrients get passed up trickle-up economy. It's wild that for a while trees didn't degrade. They didn't. When they died, there was nothing that could break down. I don't know if it was cellulose or something, but yeah. So now just imagine a world that's just filled with piles high dead trees. What a crazy time until something figured out, oh wait a second, I can break this down. That seems like a cultural shift almost, you know? Like leafcutter ants don't eat the leaves that they cut. They take them back home and they feed them to fungus. Well, yeah. Leafcutter ants actually farm fungi, which is so strange. And using genetic studies, I think they traced it back about 64,000 years. Million. That's kind of a strange number. It's roughly the same time there was a certain asteroid. Made things very difficult. Life finds a way, Dr. Malcolm would say. How cool is Jeff Goldblum? He is the most himself, and people love him for it. Maybe that's the secret. It's if you make people feel comfortable enough to be themselves, maybe by being yourself you give them permission to be themselves. Because I've never seen him criticize anything. Even so, he gives everything 10 Goldblums out of 10 Goldblums. Anyway, this has been quite a tangent. But I hope you have a wonderful day. And yeah, that was episode 1. Let me know if you want more of this. Also, no, I have no idea about this format or anything like that. I'm just kind of winging it. But let's go out the way we came in, I suppose. Hey, there we go. Anytime will do. Maybe 1:45. Maybe 2:30. Oh, actually, that could be like a night theme. That works really well. Kind of my random thought process. Yeah. Maybe 1:45. Maybe 2:30. And remember, take your time before the sun rises. You know, this would actually be a perfect spot for sponsors. Go to realpixel.coza and get a domain and hosting for 800 Rand a year. Wow, that's a shameless plug. I'm so sorry. But know that this is episode 1, and if I send it to you, yeah, I'm probably thinking about you. And if you have any ideas or any thoughts, please let me know. And take your time before the sun rises.